followers. Seneca here with IHaveNoInnerGeek.com, and this is the second part to my Halloween Fright Fest 2019 watch list. My suggestions for things you guys should check out that are on streaming services right now. First up, Transfiguration. This is streaming on Shudder, and it was outstanding. There's a teenage boy who's growing up in a housing project, and he believes that he's a vampire. He's completely enamored by the vampire mythology. He believes that he is a vampire, and this is a very interesting movie. It was a welcome viewing. Again, it's streaming on Shudder, acting superb. All new actors, as far as I can tell. You should definitely check this one out if you get a chance. What else we got? There was Emily. No, that's Amelie. Emily. Yeah, I guess I would put this down as a precautionary tale to make sure you vet your babysitters. Even if you think your current babysitter said that this babysitter's okay. This one's streaming on Netflix. I would skip this one. I would skip this one if I were you, since I already watched it for you. It shows you exactly what you don't want your kids to do. If the babysitter turns out to be some kind of a weirdo or freak or creep or a nutcase, you guys can skip this one. And I knew the Emily girl looked familiar, and that's because she's Esther from Orphan. So, so she's come a bit of a way by playing friggin' psychos. Up next, Clive Barker's Book of Blood. And this is based on one story of Clive Barker's from the Book of Blood. It's streaming on Netflix, and it's very well done. First time I saw this was actually on Sci-Fi Channel, and I was surprised when I saw it then because I just automatically assumed it was going to be a garbage Sci-Fi Channel movie. But I was stunned that it was pretty good. So this is on Netflix now. Again, all these suggestions I'm making for you guys, they're not for the faint of heart or the weak of heart or people who can't stand gore and disgusting, bloody stuff like that. So, take what I say. If you're not into horror the way I'm into horror, you don't have to watch any of this stuff. But Clive Barker's Book of Blood was actually pretty good. The kid is a college student, and he links up with a professor who's a paranormal investigator, and she wants to use what she believes is his ability to communicate with the dead to feel out what's going on in his house. So she hires out her crew, she hires out this guy, and they go to this house, and things don't end too well for everybody in this movie, but not to spoil anything, it is a decent watch though. Hell House LLC 2. It's actually a trilogy of these. The second and the third ones were exclusive to Shudder. I've watched all three, but I'll tell you what, I'll probably do a separate post on specifically found footage movies because that's what this is. It's a documentary style found footage. Now, I'll come back to that in a later post. Midsummer, released by A24 Studios. Now, A24, they've got this knack for picking up movies and distributing movies that, they're horror movies, but they're long. So are they too long? There's a fine line between trying to balance what you establish with the relationships of the characters and the viewer and how much time you need to do that. And I found that with a lot of their films that they produce and distribute, that it takes too long to get there. I enjoy it because I'm an avid watcher of horror movies, but because of that, I've got an internal gauge on when enough's enough to go ahead and get everything started. So this was over 2 hours. It's from Ari Aster, who actually also wrote and directed Hereditary, which is another one that's on the list. These films can be somewhat polarizing because people say nothing happens, it takes forever for anything to happen. And I can't disagree with them because the first film I can remember seeing that A24 distributed was The Witch, and this is streaming on Netflix. I spoke about The Witch in comparison to the film Gwen in my previous post. Now, The Witch is very quiet, but it's very subtle in what it does. And before you know it, it's actually over. And there's enough quiet for you to fall asleep because you're sitting there wondering, hey, what the hell's going to happen? But that doesn't compare to It Comes at Night. Distributed by A24. I went into this movie cold, meaning I hadn't watched any trailers from it. And this is going to bring me around to another major point with A24 Studios. I hadn't watched any trailers. I'd seen a couple of print ads where it outlined the rules that you need to follow to survive in this world, this post-apocalyptic world. But the thing with the film, It Comes at Night, it never shows up because it's just paranoia. I've described this film before as an episode of The Walking Dead where zombies never show up. Every horrifying or frightening thing that you see in a trailer for this film is in a dream sequence. And you can say spoilers or whatever. It's old enough, you guys should... Whatever. Everything that happens that you think's horrific is just a friggin' dream sequence. And nothing happens in this movie. I wasn't as pissed off as a lot of people were when I left the theater and I went home and I read some reviews and I had to get at what the problem was. And the problem was the trailer for this film that I watched afterwards, the pacing is completely misrepresented. And I found that that's what A24 does. You know, they do this with movies. They want to show you the good parts of the movie because they're trying to get asses in the seats. But it's so blatantly... It's so blatantly egregious the way they cut the trailers because there's no general sense of how slow burn and how quiet these films are. Though well-constructed films, the acting is superb. It doesn't lack there. It's just when you see these commercials, the trailer, and it's like boom, 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 boom. They're showing you all these scenes of excitement and terror and horror that's going on. That's not the way the movie flows. It's just not. This doesn't work that way. Hereditary also doesn't work that way. Now, I enjoy each of these films that A24 has released. I'm fine with them. I'm cool with them. But I understand where people run into the problems. And it's usually like it's usually black and white. There's like no middle ground to what's going on. Because you want to say, hey, what the hell's the deal? What's going on here? When are we going to get it going? And this is what I mean when I say you got to find like a proper balance for it. Hereditary, the writer-director made it a point where he wanted to make it a drama first. It wanted to be a family drama and then add the horror elements to it. For me, it worked. There's a couple of disturbing scenes in the film that caught me off guard, and I don't scare easily, and my skin doesn't crawl easily either. But there were a couple of scenes that got me on this one. So, Hereditary is also streaming on... it's on Amazon Prime. Midsommar, however, is not streaming on Amazon Prime. You're going to have to purchase that. But, again, it takes a while to get it there. But, like, the last hour or so of this film, Midsommar, yeah, just check it out. What else was there? I think that's it from this list right now. Because I'm going to do, like I said earlier, I'm going to do a separate post on found footage films. So that's it until my third part. Thanks for listening to me ramble on and on.